Alright, welcome back to another Shipyard video. So last time I said that we were going to be watching the sillboard be made. Pattern out a scarf. So before we can insert the new sillboard, have to finish removing and scarfing out all of these upright posts which have their bottoms rotten. So we're going to be talking about how to pattern a scarf. So for these uprights, the ratio is going to be 3:1. So take the width of this post, times it by 3, measure out the length, and then a diagonal line gives the scarf. It's moving. So we're going to just completely knock out all of the bad stuff at the bottom. That's going to go away. And then for cutting out this diagonal scarf, just using the saw to cut in almost to that diagonal line will help chip out the wood chips without accidentally cutting too deep.
Yeah.
The final step is, of course, to make it nice and smooth. So I got the hand plane, and then using a straight edge will help identify any high spots. You can mark those with a pencil, and then get back to smoothing it out.
Let's see, wake up, but I just don't think it's going to happen today.
So I've got the pattern here, just about ready to go. This is indicating both the length of the new sill, and then the little square pieces give us the width. Going back inside? No. Take a video of this pattern coming out. And it's off to the woodpile to hunt for a good piece of wood. This one is looking okay, despite the weird bark at the bottom, but it's not quite long enough. So we're thinking for this one, it'll be 2 pieces of wood that will be scarfed and glued together. A run through the planer gives a nice smooth surface to work with. And then we can get started. So once again, making a scarf. Pretty much the same process as last time. Alright, so again, using a straight edge to locate any high spots on the scarf and mark them with a pencil so they can get smoothed out.
Maybe next time. Should take a kayak down there.
That was an issue for a couple of years. So this is going to be scarfed on top of this one, yeah?
Yeah, I'll flip it over and join it up.
Very soon today,
Uncruise, if they put big ones in their boats on the planer, you might be able to buy a used one off them. It might be a way to get one of those. Purple
Resource 2-part?
Yeah, it's like a tan powder and a purple liquid.
And over the workbench to mix some adhesive. The gloopening.
Yeah, indeed. In or out, bro?
It looks like grape jelly.
Yeah,
The adhesive gets smeared liberally onto both pieces, and then they can be lined up and clamped together. My big camera has 128 gig, and I've literally never filled it.
Yeah, 128.
Yeah. My little one was running like an 18, but I'll probably
A singing contest between singers of widely varying abilities portrayed by the characters Walter and Beckmesser. Like voice or idol, there's a lot of drama between the singing apprentices and the master singers in Wagner's opera. Lots of making fun of the masters, kind of like when the American Idol contestants would give that Judge We Love to Hate Simon Cowell a hard time for his harsh critiques. Here we have Wagner performed by the New York Philharmonic led by Giuseppe Sinopoli, the Master Singers of Nuremberg Overture.
This stuff takes about 24 hours to cure, so it'll get left overnight. And then in the morning, the clamps can be taken off and can finish shaping this board.
It's in the right direction, but still off.
Of course. One last little task to do is to make sure that the hole that it's going to go in is nice and even. So we're just cutting right along the bottom of the house using a plank of wood to make sure the cut is even the whole way through. You can test it with a piece of wood that is the same thickness as the new sill to make sure it's going to fit. So this portion of the sill is slid in from the outside, but there is also a portion on the inside that'll need to get installed. Originally, this sill was one piece and was inserted from the inside of the ship, but that is no longer an option due to the old generator sitting in the way. So this sill is being made in two pieces. That's the outside piece, and then inside we have the inner piece, which is getting just glued on top with some more of that Resorcinol adhesive.
For spinning. And that's that.
Once glued down, it can get lagged in place since we can't clamp it. And then it's always a good idea to wipe up all of the excess glue, or it does get everywhere. Unfortunately, once dry, it can be sanded so that you won't be able to see it under the paint. Last step is to use a hand plane just to make sure both edges are even. You won't even notice this seam once this is painted. And a router will round off the edge.
Yeah, I'm about ready to make a bigger mess.
A last step, of course, is to put the uprights back in that we scarfed out earlier. Making the replacements is pretty easy, just a piece of wood of the appropriate thickness, draw the angle of the scarf, and then cut it.
Right there?
Yeah, that one there.
Right in front of you.
Yeah, well, they usually are.
A day later, all of the clamps can be taken off, and it's pretty much done. The lag bolt holes are full again plugged with wood plugs. And then we can sand all of this nice and smooth, sand all of that excess glue, and I will get to painting. So, cut to the next day after I've had a chance to prime all of it, and you can barely even see the seams of all of the scarves and everything. So, we no longer have a hole in the side of the boat. That's great. Can't see outside from the engine deck anymore. So that's one project done and some more to go. Be sure to come in for our next video because the hull is being planked. So we're going to have a nice big video about how to shape and apply hull planks to the ship. All right, thank you for watching and tune in next time.